What up, Bradford?
Dude, this is like old home week. It's amazing.
It is. It for sure it is. I'm excited to talk to this guy too.
Well,
really
an older home week, because I mean, I look at our faces look older.
I look pretty good, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you look pretty good.
Yeah.
Well,
how you doing? You all right over there? You're a little swollen.
Who, me? What are you talking about? I look fresh.
Yeah, it's because you got a filter on your freaking camera, bro.
Did you put the filter on your thing?
Hey, you're not supposed to talk yet.
I put the filter on my thing.
Sorry.
There, yeah. Well, if you couldn't guess who our guest is,
it's the return of Dom Zoom Zoom.
The return of the Mac. The return of the Mac. He's back.
Dante's
back.
What's
Dante,
up, dude? How are you, man?
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
There's a lot up, man. It's been a busy after not a lot going on. There's lots going on.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So,
wow.
So the last time we talked to you, you had left the show, and you would I forget how long it was after you left the show that we talked to you. But let's talk about the last few years. People that are watching General Hospital currently know that you are kind of back in the world. But what was the break like?
It was interesting. This
it starts off with so much hope, doesn't it?
It does. It really does, Bradford. Last time we talked, I was doing like a recurring on Tin Star and
oh yeah.
And that was cool. I think I talked to you guys before I actually went and shot that. Or was it after I shot that? I don't remember. But
yeah, I remember you telling us about that. Yeah, and that was on what station was that on?
That was on Amazon, right?
Right, it was Amazon, right?
Yeah. But so my whole thing about leaving was I was pushing 40. Yeah. And not that means anything, Steve, because I know you just broke through 50.
Well, I'm 40.
Hey, did I make the
I'm 40.
Did I make the birthday? Did I make the birthday reel?
You made the birthday reel. Thank you.
I did a more risque tape.
I know. It was very funny, dude. It was very funny.
I thought you'd find it funny.
I thought.
And Jim's like, I can't show that to his
I know
wife.
That's what was so funny. You're like, I'm doing a clean version now for you. In case
Jim
your kids are watching. No, Jim helped. Sheree got like 50 people to send me a video. So he helped with a few with like a few
editing
of the actors. No, just a few of the actors.
No. He just helped gather some people.
Just gather.
He's like, make a video for Steve. I'm like, yours. I sent this really funny video.
And it was funny, but the first version probably would have had about 17 beeps in it.
Oh no, the first version was really funny.
Yeah. Well, send it to me anyway. I want to see it anyway.
Okay, I will.
So
I was just excited that you and my wife text all this time, Steve. I was excited to text with your wife.
Calm down.
Oh yeah, I was like, where are we going here?
Just calm down, dude.
I'll be the ref.
Ref. Well, there's not going to be much of a reffing situation.
Long distance,
yeah. So, all right, you're pushing 40, and what's your mentality at that point?
Well, my mentality was, I had this other recurring thing kind of roll along, and I was like, maybe this is a time to kind of step away, and the other thing was, you don't know when this stuff's going to end, right?
Sure.
Like, shows can't get, I've never been on a show I've never had a job for 10 years ever.
Right.
Doing anything, let alone acting. Like acting's, I've never been in one place period in my life for more than 10 years until since I was 18, you know what I mean?
Right.
So to be at GH for that long, I was like, this has been amazing. But I feel like if I'm 50, if I'm old and 50, but if if you don't want to, you took a break, right? Bradford took a break. You guys, everyone's taking a break,
dude. And what you're saying absolutely resonates with me, because when I left, I was like early to mid 30s, and my thinking was, okay, if I stay here another 7 years and I'm 40, and then the show gets canceled, then who wants me? Like exactly. I gotta make sure my value outside of the building stays.
Right.
That I still have currency outside the building, and unless you're outside the building, you can't build that currency.
Right. And I was one step even behind you guys, because I came down to LA with that job, and I knew nobody, man. I knew no casting directors, nothing. So every time I would even get a chance at an audition if I couldn't be in the room. First of all, my people would have to like beg me to get in the room because no one knew who I was.
Right.
Sure.
And then, you know, you're going in for pre-reads and you can't even, half the time you don't even get in because you're working anyway. So you can't schedule
Right.
it. You can't get across town to do it. So you do a tape. You don't know if anyone's watching the tape.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's about building relationships to me.
Yeah.
Is what this last year was about for me.
Yeah. And a lot of people think, oh, why can't you do both? You just can't.
Yeah.
You just can't do both.
No, I mean, the reason I started doing some voice stuff is because you can squeeze in some voice stuff potentially while you do that.
Oh, sure.
You can shoot it from your house and stuff like that, but it's really tough to try and do both and to try and, like you said, like just to realize, hey, if the show gets canceled in 2 years, I still don't know anybody. Then all of a sudden I'm 42, 43, and what position does that put me in professionally? Like it doesn't.
Right.
Right.
But so don't you, I mean, especially now though, with the way things are going, working on any show, be it Grey's Anatomy or General Hospital, is a leg up now. Like, I feel like things shifted a bit in the last few years.
Yeah, dude, you know what really kind of hit home with me was a buddy of mine went for an audition like 6 months ago, 8 months ago. And he's like, dude, I asked the casting director, how many people get called in for submitted, not even called in, just submitted.
Yeah.
10,000 people for a role get submitted.
Because it's all digital. It's all digital.
And then they got to whittle it down to like a few hundred. You know what I mean? So when you get pinned, which I got pinned like over the last 10 months, I got pinned like 7 or 8 times. So I felt good. You know, I was making fans and I'm walking in rooms and I'm not stinking up the joint. So, you know, I felt like what I set out to do, I achieved, aside from obviously booking a role, which would have been, you know, great. But even that, it still doesn't replace the steadiness of the job that we have.
Well, yeah.
Like 5-7 episodes on a show is great, but it's not.
Yeah, it doesn't make your year.
Yeah. No. So Dom, how long, like around exactly how long have you been gone?
Well, I left in May of 18, and I came back for that one episode in October.
Right. Okay.
Must complete the mission.
What's that?
Must complete the mission.
No. That was last February.
That's just it's seared into my brain.
That made our not to make you self-conscious, but that made our comedy show. Just
must complete the mission.
Hey,
must complete the mission.
I actually really liked that material. I actually had a good time with it. You can do whatever you want with it.
Thank you. So basically, you've been gone 2 years.
Basically, been gone 2 years.
Yeah.
And you know, the other thing I realized when, you know, this whole pandemic thing is how important what we do is. They ended up re-airing a whole bunch of stuff from us from back in, you know, from when I first got there like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I would just show my stuff. And it was cool because now they're of the age where they give a shit, you know?
Yeah.
Your kids? Yeah.
Yeah. This is something they want to do. Maybe this is something they see me going off to do. I know we just had a call with my manager and then the other day.
Oh, really? Oh, it's getting real.
It might. Yeah. Cause they want to. And honestly, dude, now that you don't have to drive across town at 4:00 in the afternoon for a kid's audition.
Great. I know.
I mean, yeah, if you're doing the work with them in your house,
Zoom it all at home.
Well, that's
awesome.
Are you doing live Zooms with the kids and the casting directors? Is that, or are they saying
we haven't done it yet? We literally just had the call on Friday.
Okay.
So or Monday or whatever. I don't remember what day it was, but so we haven't done it yet. But it is going to be the kind of thing where we're doing audition tapes.
Yeah.
And sending them in.
What I've heard about is people doing Zoom meetings with casting directors as calls, as like auditions, and that's never been something that has been pitched to me to do. Like I've never had an audition that is like, hey, you're going to Zoom live with the casting director and read the scene.
That would be cool. You know, I haven't had an audition yet in this kind of post.
Right. Post. Yeah.
Whatever.
So which is fascinating to me. Like, I'm not sure if I like that better or worse, but I guess I like it better because at least you get to kind of have the semblance of a relationship with the casting director versus them just seeing a tape that you do and hopefully remembering your face, you know?
Well, the benefit of the tape is you can do 15 takes and send in your best take. But
that's the thing too, right?
But they don't get any idea of who you are.
Exactly. That's what we talked about last podcast. Was exactly that. I mean, there's just something about some people that you walk in the room, you're like, that could be the guy right there.
Sure. Yeah, and right. most directors you talk to, they'll be like, yeah, I knew you were the one by the third line you said.
Yeah, sure.
And that's kind of what you usually hear. It's like, yeah, you walked in and it was yours. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So let me go back to GH for a second when you left.
Sure.
Because I know it's really a difficult decision to leave.
Huge, man.
Huge, right? And I don't know if people really understand kind of the levity and how difficult a decision like that can be and what a gamble it is, right?
Sure.
Because the door can close and they go, no, you're not coming back. So,
totally.
Right? So for the first, I guess, when did you first start missing the work?
Oh man. You know, when I left, I was in a place where I wasn't really feeling confident about my work.
Interesting.
Like I went from going up on that stage and having a great time to going up on that stage and stressing out and like just not feeling like I was doing good work, you know? And so I was like, that's the other reason why I kind of wanted to step back. I was like, I feel like I kind of need to clear my head, man.
Sure.
Well, was that, do you think, like, you know, as time goes on, it's not that you're actively thinking, oh, I can do less. Sometimes you just get into the routine of like, oh, I know what this is, so I got this. And then you go up and you're like, ooh, I should have done more.
That's a huge thing. But you also don't feel like pushing anything.
Right.
You know, I don't know, when things stop being fun, that's usually the time you have to kind of
reassess or
evaluate
or think of a change. Yeah.
You know, but it's interesting because, you know, I've always thought you're a great actor, and I love how natural you are, right? I mean, you're a very natural actor, right? So even though you felt like, it's crap, whatever, I mean, obviously no one else really saw that and felt that and go, oh man, I don't know what's going on with Dominic. He sure sucks this week.
Well, maybe they did, but they didn't say it to me.
No, but honestly, it's like, but that's where I think people, you know, the mentality is so important, right? Like you're not, obviously you appreciate the job and you love the people and we love the camaraderie and the stuff that we would hang out in the hallway and just the little stuff that we always did. Right. And then, but there's a mentality or a burnout, or you just need a reboot, or you just need to clear your head and walk away. Like that's what it was for me. I was so entrenched in it. I wasn't really having that much fun anymore. And I just wanted to get out and do something different, or just at least see it from a new perspective.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing that I realized when I left is like, do I really want to act? Like, I don't even know if I want to act, you know, like,
right. Yeah. That's when you know you're burnt out.
Yeah. It had affected me so much, man, to the point where I was like, I had a really great time doing the 2 weeks when I came back last year. And I was like, this is really great. And I could totally see myself. I never left thinking I was going to leave forever. I just knew that I needed to fix some stuff up here, you know?
Yeah, totally. And how's that been? Cause that's an adjustment, right? You have a job, you have stability, you have your friends at work. All of a sudden you don't have your friends at work anymore. And all of a sudden you're home full time with your kids and the wife.
Yeah.
You know, that's a bit of an adjustment.
Yeah. I feel like I was a leg up in the pandemic here because I had already been like living that life for the last 6 months.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, all these things, you know, they come into play with the adjustment of having to go, okay, now I'm home. Now I got to figure out how to audition and go out on all these auditions. And you know, you're kind of, it's a weird feeling. It's exciting, but you're in this weird limbo phase.
Yeah. There was a bunch of things going on. So I really enjoyed, we sold our house. It was a whole new chapter. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Oh, wow. I didn't know you did that. So you're not in You're not in Eagle Rock anymore.
Not in Fraggle Rock anymore. Steve told me when I was very happy about our first house that we ever bought down here.
Steve made fun of it, of course.
Yeah, he made fun of it like within 10 seconds.
First new car. First
of all, that's not true.
He made fun of my car too when I pulled into the driveway, into the parking lot after.
Oh, with your Volkswagen CC?
With my CC. It was a cool car, man.
Oh, you know what, dude? That's like your 5th car. Shut up,
dude.
You had 4 Porsches, but before that, so please be quiet.
No, that was after Porsches. I got the Porsches after.
Well, you hated the CC.
It was a ripoff. Is why I didn't like that.
Well, I already told you it was a bad car.
Yeah, no, you called it a Jetta. Every time I called it a Jetta, which it basically was.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with Jettas.
So you're welcome, Dominic. You're welcome.
It was a Jetta. It would have worked better.
Welcome.
That's right.
Yeah.
Flown under the radar a little bit. Hey, you're being responsible, dude. Good for you.
Yeah, I like Jettas actually.
Well, I had a brand new Honda Civic, and then I looked over. I was like, wait a second, you have the same car. Why are you making fun of me?
I did not make fun of you.
Steve also had the world's hugest truck that he didn't know how to park.
Spots aren't big enough, sir.
They weren't big enough. You're right. I was like, your little truck, you got to drive in and drive around to continue.
Dude, I mean, someone parks next to me in a Prius and can't even fit in that freaking spot.
Yeah.
I mean, the spaces are big, but
how do we get on cars?
I don't know.
And so it was a new chapter. We sold the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We moved to Arcadia, which is.
Oh, so you're a little further out.
Yeah, we're further out, but we're just renting, and we just kind of wanted to bank some money and
sure.
Test this area out here, see how we liked it, and it's cool. It's not where we want to be full time. Long term, we realize, because it's a little too far this way. We want to go back.
Well, there's some great areas. Like, how close is Arcadia to like Claremont?
Claremont's further. It's like another half hour, maybe.
Okay, because that's a really lovely area.
It's just that's way too far. Man.
That's way too far. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is nice. That's where Dirk was living out there, wasn't he?
Yeah, Dirk was living out there.
Yeah, it is cool. That's a really cool small town. It's really nice.
Yeah. Anyway,
so we left, and I was excited. We went to Italy. We came back. We packed up our house, sold the house, moved out here. I got a new agent. Like I said, everything I went out for, I was getting pinned for. So everything was going really well,
Yeah.
It wasn't until like September, October, I was like, I think I've got the itch to be with, and you nailed it, Steve, when we talked like back in March, right? March or April. And it's like, you do miss your team. Like, it feels like and I started really, I kind of went AWOL from GH because even though it was my choice to leave, it still sucks to see everything continuing on and everyone having a good time, and everyone showing pictures and being on Instagram and Twitter, and you're trying to keep up your presence, but you're also really hard to not see, and you miss it, man. You start realizing what you want, and it's like, I don't know, what I really want is to be with my people, But I didn't say anything to anybody about it, because I was like, that feels like an arrogant thing to do, to come back and say, well, I'm ready, like I know Frank always said that, but I felt, and I told him this, I said, I felt weird saying it. He's like, well, I wish you did say something, because.
Right.
But as a, I don't know, it just felt strange to just.
Sure. Just to assume that you have that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I think it's actually worked out great, right? Things happen for a reason, and you coming back after us being off for 3 months, for almost 4 months, I think it's great. Great time.
A great kind of catapult into this new phase, whatever. I know it's a continuation of story, but having your story in there kind of infuses it with an even more sense of newness, right?
Yeah, and it felt good to me, and it felt right to me too, and everyone seemed to be really excited about it. And when we talked, Steve, like, you were supportive, and Maurice has always been supportive, and it's different. You guys said like, I don't think you guys you should, buddy. And I would have been like, all right, cool. But it was nice to feel welcomed back by you guys too, and I don't know, that just proves you're where you were meant to be.
No.
Yeah, man. Well, look, dude, I mean, we want the show to be as good as it can be, and I think you being there helps that, and I think your story was unfinished.
Yeah, totally.
Right. So it's like, it kind of sucked because it wasn't really a finish to your story anyway. So it's like, you know, let's see what that story is. I want to see that. And now with, you know, Sonny and the whole thing with Mike and all this stuff, it's just, I think you're going to have a lot of great scenes, man, when you come back. I think
yeah, it's a lot of layers, right? There seems like there's a lot to play.
Already built in though, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, totally.
Which
you
is
just
amazing.
Gotta step back in and be like, oh shit, that happened, what? You know?
Yeah, that's all.
Well, because Max wasn't there when you left, right?
He was there, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So did you have, I forget, did Dante have scenes with Mike before he left?
I did. Actually, that's one of the scenes I used to get nominated last year was stuff I had with Mike before I left, which was
interesting.
Awesome.
Okay. My mistake was submitting at the same time as Max Gale submitted.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Right.
Because who's going to win when Max Gale submitted?
Sure.
That was it. Yeah, you're not beating Max or Maurice that year. That's for sure.
No, hell no.
It's not happening.
I didn't want to anyway, though, because I came back from Italy and the Emmys were 5 days later, or a week later, and our dog sitter took our dog into some poison ivy or poison oak.
Oh no!
I was literally covered my whole body in poison oak.
You're that's
not good
from the dog. So I'm getting like.
I've gotten that before from my dogs.
Oh, dude, I'd never gotten it from a dog before. I used to get it from mountain biking and stuff like that. It was the worst because you feel like you're dying because it's like, what happened to me?
Right, because you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Poison oak versus poison ivy?
Well, I think it was poison oak. I don't think there's poison ivy here. I think it was poison oak.
Okay, because I remember back east and probably where you are too, those shiny leaves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bad news.
Yeah, no good.
Oh. So I have this covered under the suit. And I'm just sitting there. My body's just on fire.
Oh, dude.
Because you went.
Worse.
You went and you were.
Yeah.
Oh, and you were just covered in poison. Oh.
I was sitting there, and my sister's like, "You look terrible." And I was like, I can barely breathe in this thing. You know, like
it's the worst.
That is the worst.
All over my stomach and my arms and my legs. I was like, what the hell?
Oh, that's terrible.
Because he's a huge guy. He's like 115 pounds. You walk in the door, his paws are up on your face, you know, and scratching all over your chest.
Right.
Totally.
And when you naked wrestle too, that makes it hard.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's another podcast.
Yeah. Right. So
keep that in.
Right. I remember.
We will.
I remember. Oh, yeah, right.
No, I'm allergic to cats. Otherwise.
And to poison oak. I guess,
otherwise, right? Watch out now.
Yeah. Dom, I remember when you were fixing to leave around that era. I remember talking to you, and you had a lot of things in the works, things that you wanted to maybe produce, things that you were writing, and having that as a part of your continual practice, going back into the routine of being on GH, and obviously you have to balance it a little bit because you don't want what you're doing on the side to overwhelm and interfere with your work on the show. But at the same time, if you can have a healthy balance for that affects, I feel like that can keep you in a healthier mindset about your overall creativity.
No, it can. And I feel like actually I took for granted just how much freedom we do have on that show anyway.
Yeah.
Like there's at least a couple days a week on average.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Where you're able to be home. You can't schedule working on something because like that's too random.
Right.
But you can be home and you know, in your garage writing or in the office writing or something like that. And it almost feels better because the pressure's off that way. You know what I mean? You're not
sure, yeah.
Like you're paying your bills with your job and you're doing the creative things on the side that, I mean, I took for granted how much creativity I got out of GH as well too.
Sure.
There were moments where you go up there and it's over so quickly.
Yeah.
And you wish you could have more time and do more things, and you come away and you drive home not feeling great.
Sure.
And that feeling gets you after a while because it just feels like you left something out there and you don't want to do that. You know.
I often have that feeling of wishing it lasted longer and I could have done more things.
So does somebody else I know.
Who's that?
His wife.
Oh! Maybe she doesn't though, buddy.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe she's totally. I'm good.
We'll probably have to cut that one out. But
Well, you
So,
could have left
Dom,
my
were you-
subtle. You could have left my subtle thing in there. My subtle.
Well, we
But
still can.
You had to slam dunk it, you bastard.
I know. I had to explain it to the Canadian guy. Dom, when you were off, were you writing?
I'm an American now too, buddy.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, congratulations. I saw the certificate.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
So you're a
thanks.
naturalized citizen now? Is that how it works?
Naturalized Americano.
That's it.
Yeah.
You can
Anyway,
start.
what were you gonna say? Sorry.
I was going to say with your time off, because I know you're working on a couple movies and you're writing and working on getting them produced and made. How much does that fulfill the creative part compared to the acting?
Well, it's another thing I realized too is like when I said I didn't know if I wanted to act anymore, I realized I did want to act again.
That's fair.
That's the first thing I realized in like September, October. I was like, I want to get back on a set. Like when you get close to booking so many things and you're the other guy like that many times in a row. It's like, man, I just want to get on a set and like kick some ass,
Yeah.
And so I realized at that point, I'm like, I definitely miss being in front of the camera. I definitely get a lot from being behind the camera too. Like I want to direct and film stuff as well. Like I've realized. I've realized I'm not a great writer. I have good ideas, but I need a collaborator.
Yeah.
That's a useful discovery.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. You waste less time.
Sure.
You really do. And it's more fun to write with a collaborator, and also finding out what you do well is very useful too, right?
Yeah.
Like if you keep trying to slam home the thing that you don't do well, and you're like, I should be good at this, or I need to be good at this, that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I got to say, in me and Steve's world, we've had some lofty ideas, but we realize we should just stick with what we're good at.
Yeah, like that might not be yours. Like you're not a plumber, so don't plumb the sink.
Sure.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you make a good point, Dom, because like with what we do, sometimes it's up to us to kind of fix some things at work, right? So when I was writing with a friend of mine, I was like, just send me the first draft because I'm really good at fixing things.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I knew when I was writing stuff with him. I'm like, let me just edit it because or have a few ideas. But I think work really kind of helped me with that. Right. Like just
I had the same thought too, man. I mean, we're writing a little, like one of the things I've been enjoying doing while we've been the pandemic is we've been doing a kids show, my buddy and I.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. I know Lisa made some appearances and whatnot too, right?
Yeah. I got Lisa to do a couple cameos and stuff like that. And it's silly, you know what I mean? It's just like he's a songwriter and he's got a talent for music and a lot of the stuff has really been geared towards kids and we just started doing this thing and he'd write something and then I'd come in and be like, well, let's fix all this up, and make it flow and tie it in and so that, and to your point, that it was a total discovery, and that from like I guess we get from GH. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, maybe. I mean, we're doing it there.
I think all actors have that ability,
you want to make
right?
it natural. You want to make it yours, right? It's hard to kind of speak some things out when they're not naturally how you would speak or something like that.
Well, it's our job is to infuse truth into the words, right? And so however that, like, because that's my filter. It's like, oh, I don't believe that. How do I make it? How do I make that sound like something that would actually be said?
Right, which is weird because like you read like a David Mamet thing. Like I got Speed the Plow here. I was reading it yesterday, and it's like it's dated first of all, but the way he's always a guy like if it's not on the page, don't do it. Like
right, he doesn't think that. He doesn't
want you to think.
Right. He doesn't. He's like, I've done all the work for you. You are a talking head.
Yes.
How dare you have an original thought about this masterpiece?
Right. Like the last thing you should do if you want to continue working for someone like that is offer anything up other than the words that are on the page.
And for 9 out of 10 actors, I would say that's probably true. I don't need to hear your opinion. Just say the freaking words.
It's true. Who the hell are you? And why would I care?
Yeah. And why do I even care? So your first day back, how was it?
It was awesome, man. I mean, aside from, everything being different.
Of course,
of
right. Of course.
The stuff. But it was, there was, I almost like got a little teary on set, man, because
that's awesome.
The first people I saw were makeup and hair people, and then, going up to stage, getting called up by Craig, and I'm honestly, man, the little things like mean a lot,
right.
Yeah. And being on stage and everyone you missed, from the camera crew to props guys to hair, makeup. I mean, it's weird. The mask thing is weird, and all that. But
sure.
I full on said thank you for having me back to everybody, and
awesome, man.
And Frank came down and welcomed me back, and I got a nice cheer from everybody. And I don't know, man, it just feels like the right thing,
Yeah.
And like you say, I'm lucky. They wanted me and I wanted them. So it's
so do you think, I don't know, besides you missing the things, do you think there's been a mental change for you, or perspective change on things?
Well, look, I think everyone's had mental perspective, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Well,
definitely during the pandemic, of course, but
yeah,
just from your journey of being burnt out.
Oh yeah. That's, also what I feel like I did was, I've never been one to do the things that people say to do when you're feeling those ways.
Yeah.
Just meditate, take some time to yourself. Like, dude,
Sure.
The last 9 years of my life, you go back 11 years, I've been on GH. Then we had 3 kids. My mom died. My dog got killed by a coyote. You get sleep deprived.
Sure.
You're scrambling to get back all the things that you feel like you had, the freshness that you had, like,
right.
When you were 30, and now you're 41, and you've lived all this stuff, which takes a toll, man. And
yeah, it sure does.
You got to address it all, and you have to be kind to yourself, and you have to, I don't know. But those are things that are hard to do when you're feeling scattered and spread thin.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's how I was feeling, and that's how I'm not feeling anymore. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
But the pandemic made me realize too is people need TV and film, and
oh man,
even more than music. We need music, but nothing gets me like escapism in front of the TV and watching a show.
Well, especially our fans, like this show is their show. Like, it's like a part of their life for 30 years. And they're like, wait a minute, you can't just take it off.
Right.
I mean, that's what's so great about our show, as opposed to, other primetime shows, is that we have such a different connection to our fans than primetime does.
Totally.
And the fact that all of a sudden this show was, I don't want to say ripped away from people, but you could see how much it meant to everybody, you know? And
we even did a couple of I did one Zoom fan event.
Yeah.
And I was amazed at how happy everyone was that we were doing it,
Yeah, I know. They just want us in their lives, which is so awesome. And what a grateful place to be, it's just really, really is cool, man.
When so many things are in flux, so many things are not just like not here, but it's unclear what they'll be like when they do come back, if they come back, right?
Sure.
So many parts of our life, so many parts of what we got used to could potentially be very different for a long time. So the fact that we still exist in some form of our former state.
Yeah, it's a normalcy. Big deal. The normalcy for people that they're craving. Everyone's craving. It's a roller coaster, right? Like the days that bring you joy, like the thing that you did 5 days ago or 2 weeks ago or 3 months ago that might have brought you joy might not be bringing you joy anymore,
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but the potential for normalcy or getting back to some kind of normalcy is what going back to work for us is, what being on for fans is,
Yeah. How are things in, like, how many kids do you have now?
Still 3. I haven't had it anymore. I'm surprised no one's come in here right now, actually. Like,
right. It's a full house
45 minutes of talking and no one's come in here and screaming at me.
That's amazing.
No one's
in the face.
Right. And like, in a normal year, my kids would be going back to school next week, but they're not.
Yeah, my kids, we were going to homeschool anyway, so our kids aren't going back anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
Just because of the pandemic or anyway?
We were going to do it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
We were in private, and then we kind of we had like an experience we weren't like crazy about. So we were like, you know what? Let's just do it ourselves.
All right, so it's not
ourselves. It's her doing it.
Well, sure.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. So, well, you being back at work
takes me out of the equation.
Yeah.
I'm no longer available to parent.
Yeah. So, but I would imagine.
I wish I could use that excuse.
But when my wife would always tell me that, in normal times when they had a routine, sometimes me being home disrupted their routine a bit. So if your wife is trying to
tells me that all the time.
Right. So if they're trying to establish a homeschool routine, you being back at work probably helps.
No, 100%. I think that's what sucked for this whole thing too. She's like, you're here. Like, she's like, I'll do the dishes during the day. You do them at night. Okay. We have to kind of get a thing going,
Sure. Yeah. Sure. That's a new routine for sure. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well,
but we also have to like every morning be, you got to take your time like outside and meditate. And I'll take my time outside doing, punching myself in the face before I go and get picking up dog crap.
Sure.
Yeah. So much dog crap.
Crap.
Who would have thought?
I know, right? Well, I always knew I'd have
what
dogs.
an amazing life.
I'd be picking up dog crap.
Yeah.
That's funny, dude.
So now we can't get out of this without talking a little bit about your hair. So
let's just bring it back to the beginning.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Is this going back?
Look at that. That's amazing right there.
That is
I'm going to be the monkeys.
Oh yeah, that's the Beatles right there, right?
That's like Mickey Dolenz. I like that.
Yeah, I love that.
But I feel like I got to graduate. So maybe I'll come back. I'll start like trying to slick it back like Maurice does or something like that see how long Frank lets me keep it.
No, let it grow, man. It looks great.
So, but I mean, it kind of goes with the story as if you've been in like, because you were
where are you, by the way? Are you in Turkey?
I'm in Switzerland.
Oh, you are, Ma.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good.
I'm in the WSB in Switzerland.
All right.
It's a weird question, but I remember.
That's better than Russia.
I remember getting some messages on social media about this. And so you started your first thing shot back was of your feet, right? Something like that. Like it was
it was like me on the bed.
Yeah, he was having a bad dream and his feet were moved, dancing around like dancing like a
watching.
You
like a
think I was having
dream.
a nightmare? I was actually having a good dream.
Well, I mean, the close up on the feet, it was like the dancing feet for like 20 seconds.
It just occurred to me there's bound to be some weird social media responses talking about your feet.
Sure.
Like
I got some pretty feet though, Bradford.
That makes it worse.
That makes it worse
because
it brings from experience. It sounds like
it brings the feet people out.
Bradford is. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
He saw your clip of your feet on a website that he won't mention.
Yeah.
I bet that. See, I almost believed you.
I know you did. That's amazing.
So I'm just saying, look out for that. It might be coming your way.
Watch out for the feet people.
Watch out for the feet people. They're coming for you.
Well, dude, listen.
At least they were my feet. At least they didn't need to get like a foot.
Yeah,
foot
true.
double?
Yeah, foot double. That would have been. Yeah.
No, dude, what's wrong with your toes, bro? Get out of there. Like,
no, it's like if you
call
couldn't have
Burton in here. We need his feet.
If you couldn't have been available and they needed a foot double and they got some guy with like fat toes.
No, just giant, like 13.
Just giant feet.
Like size 14 or something, like Shaq's feet.
Yeah, that's not Dante. Wow, dude.
Oh, is it?
Oh. Hey, man.
Well, hey, man.
So we're so grateful you did this today, and we're so happy to have you back, man.
Thanks for asking me, and thanks.
Life is better with you in it.
Yes, buddy. I can't wait to see you at work and give you a hug and a big kiss.
Well, I'm there in 2 weeks, I think. Week and a half.
Hopefully, I'll be there.
Countdown.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hopefully, I'll be there, dude.
All right.
Well, good talking to you
Dominic,
guys.
Zoom. Thank you, buddy.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Dante.